And we're back here, of course, with the local legend. He doesn't like me calling him that, but that's what we refer to him as here. Bruce
It's
Cooper.
in his contract. You got to call him a local legend.
Well, I know, but it also says in the contract, pretend like he doesn't like it.
Yeah.
Mention he doesn't like it.
The great Bruce Cooper.
So, Bruce, how you doing, man?
That was in really small print.
Yeah.
I know. I don't like read it. I was all like this, trying to read it.
Really? I got to say this.
If I would have saw it when we signed it, I wouldn't have signed it. I would have fought it on that side. How you doing, man?
I'm doing good. You know, I tell you, I'm sure you guys talked about it ad nauseum yesterday, but I mean, the pictures that flooded social media of State Farm Stadium, dude, that was embarrassing.
Yeah.
That took me back to the Sun Devil Stadium days.
Yeah.
I mean, and then they now have moving video that they can put on these websites, unlike when we were at Sun Devil Stadium.
Right.
I mean, we're seeing people, that video of them just coming down the
Streaming down.
escalator
Well,
in mass, just leaving. I'm like,
I didn't go to the game on Sunday because I knew somebody that was a Rams fan. I was like, dude, just take them. Like, just get them out of my hand. I don't, it's like I already bought the tickets. It doesn't matter. I just don't want to spend the extra money driving across town and then getting food and all of that stuff. But, I mean, it's been like that Jacksonville game, end of the third quarter, beginning of the fourth quarter. You just literally see people stand up and walking out, piling out, stuff like that. It's been like that for a few weeks. But I agree with you. It's the fans are showing their displeasure.
yeah.
And unless it's a team like the Steelers, the Cowboys, that stadium's not going to sell. There's tons of Rams fans here, but they're not going to fill the stadium like those guys are.
Right,
and
exactly.
everything. And I contest, and you've interviewed Michael Bedwell, you've talked to him, I've talked to him a few times over the years, and it's not just I just don't like the guy, but I get car salesman vibes from him and stuff like that. But you've talked to him, you've dealt with him. There's one thing that I think he does not put up with, and that's embarrassment. And this is what happened on Sunday was an absolute embarrassment for him.
It was. Matter of fact, I think that may have been the death knell for Gannon.
That's what I was going to ask you.
I truly believe that they were going to use the Kyler Murray quarterback issue as another year being granted. But man, I mean, 2 of the last 3 games, you're getting just absolutely mollywopped.
I mean, he got rid of Cliff Kingsbury when normally he would have kept a head coach. Who was the coach before Kingsbury? Not Wilkes, the other one. He's held on to a couple coaches until they just faltered and had 7-8 game losing streaks to end the season. I think Wisenhunt, right, was one of them.
Yeah.
They kept him.
Well, Wisenhunt, they went to Seattle and they lost 58-0.
Yeah. But that was in the midst of multiple game losing streak, and now you've got 3 big losses. You're going to the Texans this weekend, who have the best defense in the NFL over the last 6 weeks, 5 weeks.
Well, see, you've changed quarterbacks, and it's only gotten worse.
Yeah, well, the winning's gotten worse. The offense has looked better.
Look,
but you're not. It's not equating to win.
You can put a Band-Aid or a rose on it any way you want. The bottom line is, this team is getting mollywopped and embarrassed at levels they weren't before.
And I said yesterday, I can understand keeping Drew Petzing till the end of the year, and the whole offense is because you fired Drew Petzing, who's taking over.
I might as well keep them all, but you have to move on.
Literally January. What's the last game? January 4th. Literally the night of January 4th. Those guys are out of the
Black Monday would be what, January 5th?
I would even wait till Monday.
He's got to be gone.
So do you see any scenario though to where Jonathan Gannon stays, but Bidwell says you got to change your offense coordinator?
No, look, I think that would be a huge mistake.
Okay.
Look, I've been around this market and covering sports for a long time, the better part of 4 decades now.
Almost as long as I've been alive, Bruce.
Thanks for saying that, man. And anytime you hear players go out and endorse their head coach
while you're losing,
exactly. Thank you for that point there. While they're losing, it tells me that they don't want change because they're comfortable.
They're
comfortable.
I said that last week. And you know who I brought up? I don't know if you remember when Antonio Pierce was in Vegas,
right?
And Max Crosby comes out and said,
"It wasn't just him."
But he was the loudest one. If you don't sign Antonio Pierce to be the head coach, I want to be traded.
Yeah.
Well, why is that? You guys weren't winning.
Right.
So why is it?
Well, they did go on a winning streak when he was interim.
Yeah,
head
but
coach.
not. They were not in the playoffs or anything.
No, I understand that.
And so you have to change the culture. And see, Phoenix Suns, I know it's a different sport, change the culture relative to the coaching staff, but it's the types of players that they brought in, namely some guy named Dylan Brooks, who you have to go that route. Yeah. The Phoenix Suns have changed it overnight.
Well, look how the Suns
season.
played last night with two of their guys that set the tone.
How
on
about
the bench.
this? And I wanted to bring this up. Yesterday, during the day, Dylan Brooks was questionable.
Yep.
Whatever his injury was, he's questionable.
It's soreness with his Achilles.
When's the last time a Suns player was questionable
and played?
And then played.
Yeah.
And then had a hell of a game. And that's the difference from here. This 6 inches.
Yeah. And I keep saying it. I think the Suns. I think the Cardinals need to use the Detroit Lions as their model.
Yeah.
They brought in speed, burst, and playmakers.
And attitude.
Well, sure. But that attitude really came from their head coach.
Yes.
All right. But I'm talking about this Cardinals team, offensively especially, they're bereft of playmakers.
Go defensively, other than Josh Sweat. Name a playmaker.
Well, I'm telling you, Detroit at least started offensively. So when you're scoring, when you're looking good offensively, you're at least entertaining the fans.
Yeah.
You may lose, but
I call that the old Suns 7 seconds and less.
Yeah.
They weren't winning a championship
per
se.
Hey, don't start me with that. I
because they lack that toughness.
I do have some issues. I'm still upset over the Robert Ory hit.
That's the one you're.
Dude, that's a real thing. Yeah. That's a real thing. I know you can't bring that up. It's a real thing. I was there.
I'm with you.
But my argument is like the Barkley years, right? The toughness was there, but not to get you past that level.
Yeah.
They would go and they'd play the Spurs and they'd get beat because the Spurs were tougher.
But you'd win 60 games a year,
but it would
and you
be
had
entertaining during the regular season. That's kind of what I'm getting at here. Cardinals are just not entertaining.
No. And when you don't have the guy, I think I pointed out here a couple of weeks ago, maybe 2 or 3 weeks ago. I was at home on a Sunday, and I said the Cardinals went to overtime, the Lions went to overtime. First play for the Lions.
Yeah, big
Jahmyr
play.
Gibbs, that playmaker, 69-yard house call. If it's a Cardinal running back, that plays 10, 15 yards next snap.
I don't even know if they get 10 or 15 yards. Bruce, they had 8 carries for 23 yards at halftime on Sunday.
I think Dale pointed out that they lost their balance, and so when they had that run during the first half when they were in first place, and we're talking about a playoff team. They had the balance. I mean,
last year they were balanced.
Yeah, I'm talking about last year. James Conner was just off the chains, running and everything.
Offensive line was playing much better.
They finished 5th overall in the NFL in rushing yards and stuff. So they had that. And so, look, I would never call James Conner a playmaker. He doesn't have that burst or anything, but he played with that
I was
Cam
saying last
Scatterbo.
year that offense ran through James Conner.
Well, you can say can make that argument.
Absolutely.
You can make that argument.
When he wasn't in the game or he wasn't on a play, it changed.
All I'm talking about is that he played with that Cam Scatterbo type of effort.
But doesn't that go off of what your coaching does and way your coach reacts?
Well, yeah. The
statue.
But all I'm talking about, I still go back to the Lions model. Is when Dale was with Jimmy Johnson, they talked about what was it? Big proponent of speed, right?
Oh yes.
Yeah, and speed kills.
Yeah.
And so I think if you look at the Jameson Williams, the Jahmyr Gibbs, and things, I mean, they just bring that Antonio Brown or that Tyreek Hill type of just speed that you just make defenses say, "Oh, I gotta cover this," and you open up other areas.
Yeah.
And so the Cardinals are bereft of that type of skill set and that type of burst of speed.
Oh.
And I'm convinced, and this is why I don't mind if I'm watching Monday Night Night Football. Now the Eagles fans are upset because Jalen Hurts has stopped running.
Yes.
They said he just stopped running, and then I'm watching some guy named Justin Herbert, who's not known for running.
With a broken left hand.
Yeah, and he gave the option fake, pulled it out twice, picked up big first down. I love dual threat quarterbacks. I've told you guys this on this show, And so,
You do.
if you're going to get rid of Kyler Murray, okay, but give me a dual threat quarterback.
But
Jacoby Brissett's not that.
I want more of a Josh Allen dual threat where he pulls it down and runs when he has to, but he looks to pass first.
Look.
Not a Lamar Jackson or not a Kyler Murray type where first thing they do is run with it.
Look. I'm okay with that. Okay. I'm okay. I just want a dual threat quarterback.
Yeah. So basically, Steve's saying all I want is the best quarterback in the league to come. That's all I want.
Dale, am I asking too much?
Well, there's not a lot of Josh Allen around for sure. They're not. And look. How many times have we seen Patrick Mahomes win Super Bowls because he's made big plays with his feet? Yeah. That's just a quarterback.
But even when he's running, he's looking down the field until the last possible second.
But he's made those plays with his feet. Yeah. And so I already know Jacoby Brissett's not that dude.
He can't. He
can't. No.
He looks like me running.
Like I said before on this show, I don't think he can outrun Kurt Warner.
No, but see, the thing about Brissett is he, in my mind, is the perfect backup. Or if he came in, if he had to come for 3 or 4 games, he might win 2 of them. He might.
Yeah, but here's the problem, Dale. You're not going to find that quarterback in year 1 of this draft. I mean, whoever you draft, I don't care if it's
Mendoza didn't change your mind with that Ohio State against Ohio State. Woo, he was throwing some pretty balls there, Bruce.
He looked real good in that 13-10 win. I tell you, and Ohio State missing chip shot field goals. Yeah, look, I'm not trying to throw shade on the guy, but look, the backups in this league from a free agent standpoint. The draft, and I look, the quarterback that I've seen in the draft that I like better than anyone is Ty Simpson of Alabama, because he can at least move. He can do some things with his feet, but he's only had this year as his experience in playing starting quarterback in college football. So he doesn't bring a lot of experience to the table, but that's all I'm saying. If you're going to move on from Kyler Murray. And look, like I said, he's not a relative of mine. He's not a friend of mine. I don't really know the guy outside of some interviews.
Nobody knows him.
Yeah. All I'm saying is, give me somebody better than him. That's all I'm asking. Just give me somebody equal or better.
You're practically asking for the same thing I'm asking for. Just dreams and hopes and dreams. Because don't you? Kyler Murray's a top 15 quarterback in this league, whether you want to face it or not.
I agree with that. There's no question
about it. And the top 14 are taken.
Yeah.
And they're not going to be released anytime soon.
And so I don't really, for me, if you guys ask me, should the Cardinals bring back Kyler Murray and get rid of him? My answer is easy for me. I'm bringing him back.
So you're saying you want the coaching staff fired, but bring back the product on the field.
No, you got to change. I'm changing both. I'm getting rid of the. I already told you guys I'm bringing in Steve Spagnuolo from the Kansas City Chiefs. Yeah. I'm sure he'll bring an offensive assistant from Kansas City that'll make him their
and I guarantee you, whoever he brought in would have more experience than Penzing and the rest of the offensive staff.
But Dale, I have to bring in speed. I have to find some burst. I have to find some playmakers. And once I do that, I'm now moving. So I look at Kyler Murray as a playmaker, believe it or not, just because of his dual threat abilities. And so once I get the ball out of his hands, whether it's to a running back like Jeremiah Love, again, I'm getting him to a playmaker. Whether it's getting it out to a wide receiver, it needs to be a playmaker. I'm just exchanging playmakers.
I'm worried though.
That's what the Lions do, and it's so great.
Explain this to me. Why, when Marvin Harrison doesn't play, does Michael Wilson turn into a Pro Bowler? And when he plays, he's relegated to
Dale, I have noticed that myself. Matter of fact, I was fortunate enough to pick up Michael Wilson once I learned, because I had Marvin Harrison. I had Marvin Harrison on my team.
Yeah.
I drafted Marvin Harrison with the 3rd overall pick in my fantasy league draft.
Right.
He's been a colossal disappointment.
Yeah.
All right. So when he got hurt, I picked up Michael Wilson,
not
knowing that Michael Wilson would be this guy that where's he been?
Yeah.
I mean, this is his 3rd year. Third year. And my goodness, his breakout came when Marvin Harrison doesn't play.
Well, I think, to Dale's question there, I think it's just they put him right back into Marvin Harrison comes in, he's automatically the 1 receiver. Wilson's the number 2. And Jacoby doesn't have time to go through his progressions because he's getting the crap beat out of him. And you need to make Wilson the 1 and Marvin Harrison 2, but they're not willing to do that because it's Marvin Harrison Jr. and we got to keep him at the number 1 spot. It's terrible coaching. It's terrible design. It's terrible everything. Is what's a failure.
Look, I don't mind having a good wide receiver 1 and a good wide receiver 2. Because, I mean, the last time the Dallas Cowboys were relevant, they had Amari Cooper at the other opposite end.
But was Harper ever a number 1?
He's talking about more recent.
Okay, well, even then, is Pickens better than CeeDee Lamb? Like, do you see Pickens become the 1? This is my point. You make the 1 the 1 and the 2 the 2, and Wilson's the 1.
But here's the deal. When they bracket 1, 2 can get off. I mean, it's like in Cincinnati.
This is my point.
It's like in Cincinnati with Jamar Chase.
Have them bracket
and
Wilson, and then that'll open up Marvin Harrison
sure.
as a 2.
Well, it doesn't matter, but you need that too. But see, we didn't even think that Wilson was a wide receiver 2,
right?
Until
I know, and now he's a 1. Isn't that amazing how that works out?
Yeah. And look.
But I mean, could you imagine if Michael Irvin has a couple games where he struggles or late in his career, and all of a sudden you're like, hey, the number 2 guy is going to become our number 1. It doesn't happen. And you make the moves that you need to make. And just Marvin Harrison Jr., when he's in there, he's the 1 receiver. Him and Trey are the 1 and 1. And it's not working. It hasn't worked in 2 years. It's not going to work anytime soon.
But here's a question you have to ask yourself. Clearly, when Kyler Murray was quarterback, his number 1 target or his primary target was McBride, Trey McBride.
Yeah.
I mean, McBride's put back-to-back 100-plus yard receiving.
I mean, there's a reason for that. But
yeah. And I mean, look, the guy was a Mackey Award winner in college. I mean, he's got glue hands. The guy can catch, but he doesn't have that home run speed.
No.
And so the Cardinals drafted Marvin Harrison. Hey, look, I'm all in on that pick as well. I know you like the Malik Neighbors, and he's turned out to be the better receiver, no doubt about it.
I think he's better with a torn ACL. To be honest with you.
Yeah, he has that over the top speed and burst that I'm talking about. All right,
that's what I like about
and so, but here's the deal: Cardinals had drafted some guy named Michael Wilson the year before, and they didn't even know what they had in the guy.
That's the other thing with the coaching staff that drives me nuts. How do you not know you have that guy?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know how you can go in practice for 3 years.
Yes, 2.5.
Yeah, almost 2.5 years because they found out when Harris got hurt. Yeah, that you don't know what you have in this guy.
Right.
I mean, it's amazing to me.
That tells me the coaching staff isn't paying attention.
Yeah. So
you got to think they're paying attention, but it's something that they're missing of translating whatever they see in practice to a game. And there are guys who don't practice as well as they play in games.
But you got to remember, too, I mean, that's true. But you also got to remember, you had Kyler Murray as a starter as well. So how much does that hamper? Does he not look at Wilson as his number 2? Kyler Murray gets the ball.
You can make that argument, but the same thing was happening with Jacoby Brissett.
Yes.
I had Michael Wilson, and then Harrison comes back. I leave Wilson in my starting lineup, and every pass is going to Harrison.
And at the beginning of the game, it was good.
Harrison or McBride.
It was the last game. It was the game before this weekend.
Yeah.
Remember? And then what was the interception? He was trying to force it into Wilson, who was being triple covered, and Harrison was open. And then it kind of opened up for him after that. I don't know. So you say, Jonathan, my issue with the coaching staff is you can't go whatever you decide to do with the quarterback coming up here. My opinion is you need a new coaching staff to go along. If it's your long term, if you're going to get a Sam Darnold, somebody to that effect that's going to come in for a year or two before and then figure out what to do. Okay, keep Jonathan Gannon maybe in that scenario. But if you go anything young or a long term quarterback, you have to blow those guys out.
No.
Meanwhile, your season ticket in
look, if you drafted, let's say the Cardinals draft a quarterback in the first round. If they're playing, you have another pitiful year.
Yeah.
The kid's not ready.
Coop,
He's just not ready.
Coop, by the way, what we're talking about the draft, we're talking about coaches, and guess what? Your season ticket invoice is due in
3 days, 4 days,
6 days.
Yeah, 6 days. I thought it was the 13th. Yeah, and it's a 40% increase for most of the stadium, stadium as well. Yes.
It's a brutal thing that we're watching right now, and I think that Jonathan Gannon is on his way out just based on what we've seen. And like you said, Houston probably. I don't look at Houston as being able to blow out the Cardinals Sunday because Houston. They I don't think they average 20 points a game, but they have an elite defense that they win.
Sure. Yeah, that defense might end up.
Well, I use the word we'll wrap up this hour with it. I use the word quit on Sunday. about halfway through the second quarter, beginning of the third quarter, I used the word quit. And that's going to get coaches fired more than anything. So we'll talk more about it. Of course, college football playoffs coming up. And we got Sam leaving out of town.
And we got Notre Dame playing in the college football playoffs. How about those Irish?
We'll get Bruce's opinion on all those controversial subjects. And then little Colin Gillespie getting some praise from the Ant-Man last night as the catalyst.
How about my
Did he
son?
really?
He did, yeah, he really
okay.
did. I tried to get the video, but it was hard. I couldn't get the sound up high enough. But other teams are saying number 12 on the Suns is the catalyst for them, and he's a really good player, which is kind of Coach Bud. Didn't even know Colin Gillespie was on the team last year. Come on back, folks. Second hour main event coming up next.
That's the one thing you can't argue. Steve, when are these
what are you
commercial
saying?
breaks
Keep
going to be
talking. I was
longer
going to let
for
you go
crying
and
out
talk
loud?
as well.
I can't
Second
even
hour
stretch for crying out loud.
Well, we'll get into that there. Second, I was going to let you keep talking. Get your point out. We'll preview that portion of the show coming up.
Well,
but, of course, second hour main event here, folks.
Well, is Bruce Cooper the great one, as you like to call him?
Bruce Cooper here to my left, the 17-year NFL veteran, Dale
I'm
Hellestrand
just
to
a
my
guy,
right. I'm just the guy here.
But we're talking about college football playoff, and we talked about it a little bit yesterday. But the whole thing is, I could see if you had Miami ranked out of Notre Dame before last week.
Absolutely.
Because, again, if you look at all the metrics, and I'm not an analytics guy, but I guess you can look at all these metrics and, they're close. And if they're close, well, then I go to the on the field. Do they play?
They did.
And I don't care if it's back in spring ball. If you're the two teams are on the same field and they play, you gotta lean towards the team that won.
But Dale, here's my point. Notre Dame lost to Miami in week 1 of the college football season.
Right.
When the college football selection committee started putting their rankings out leading up to Selection Sunday,
Miami
for
never
5 consecutive weeks, they already knew that Miami had beaten Notre Dame in week 1, but they had Notre Dame 10, Miami 13.
Yeah.
That's just it stayed that way. Notre Dame was at 10 for 5 consecutive weeks. So they're in.
Right.
Now, neither Miami nor Notre Dame played on championship conference weekend.
Yeah.
And so to see Miami leapfrog Notre Dame, and you want to use that excuse about they beat him head to head, the committee knew that when they started ranking him. Yeah. So it makes the logic makes zero sense.
Well, then to add a second group of 5 team in there and shut Notre Dame out. This was personal against Notre Dame, and Notre Dame knows it, by the way, which is why they aren't playing in the bowl game. Well, Notre Dame knows this is personal against them not being in a conference, and that's why they're sitting this out. And we'll see what the other ramifications are coming up as well.
Yeah, but Alabama's a 3-loss team.
Well, so that's the thing.
And they didn't drop.
It's like well, so.
They had 3
to me, there's a myriad of different arguments here. You have the Miami Notre Dame, whereas if Miami was the head of Notre Dame for those 5 weeks,
we
you have an
absolutely
argument.
not a problem.
Yeah.
Not a problem.
Yeah.
But to switch them when they didn't play, that's
Absolutely.
number one.
Major
well,
problem.
they used the excuse BYU lost big, so they had to drop BYU down, which put Miami next to Notre Dame, and then you can compare.
It still shouldn't affect.
Hey, all kinds
first of all, don't
ignorant-
yell at me. It's the dumb committee that's biased there that said that.
But then another argument to this thing is Alabama with 3 losses, and the way they looked. I don't say they had to beat Georgia, but when you rush for -3 yards
and they've
in a
struggled
game,
the last 5 weeks also,
and you're gonna put a 3-loss Alabama team in.
Yeah,
That doesn't make sense. And then the last thing in my mind, and maybe the biggest, is James Madison and Tulane. If you want to give them one spot to be fodder, go up to Eugene and get your butts kicked in the first round of the playoff. 1, okay. 2, ridiculous.
Go to 16 and put 4 group of 5 teams in. So basically, teams are getting byes in the first week. To have 2 teams get a bye and 2 teams have to, like Oklahoma, Alabama have to play, Miami and Texas A&M have to play. Why is it fair to them that they have to play a hard team in their competitor level, and 2 teams like Oregon gets a bye week in that first round? It's just an utter disgusting thing college football's done.
Yeah.
all around on that side.
They don't. They are struggling to get that right.
Yes.
But I'll say this to the next point. It doesn't matter that Miami got in. It doesn't matter that Alabama got in. They're not winning a championship. Your champion's coming from the top
They're
four.
not, but at least they have a chance to wear that Cinderella shoe,
Yeah.
just like so many teams do in the NCAA March Madness.
Basketball's way different.
It is different, but you can't win if you don't play, right?
I don't disagree. You got to get in.
Well,
to
you
get into
can.
that side.
Miami just proved that. You can win.
Watch Miami
I'm
go on
talking
this
about the
run
title.
with Carson Brett. We'll get back to college football in a minute because we were talking NFL earlier, and you proclaimed coaching staff gone. What about
Absolutely.
Monty Austinfort, GM?
Monty stays. I mean, you can't completely get rid of the entire front office and just start. I think that Monty, now that he has seen what he's put through in the draft, and he's not getting a lot of. He has 0 Pro Bowlers, though I think he has a draft pick or 2 that could maybe evolve into a Pro Bowl. But in his 3 seasons as general manager, his drafts have not yielded any.
Everybody's like, we get a better draft pick, and I'm like, why? So they can come in with a calf injury and miss half the season, or not be able to catch? Like, what's the point of a higher draft pick?
Look, I'm telling you, if they went and they drafted Jeremiah Love from Notre Dame, the running back, they would make me an awfully happy young man.
Well,
That's the first step in trying to reignite not only their running game, but just the overall playmaking, speed, and burst that they lack on that team. Name me a guy on that team. I think Amari DiMercado is the closest thing that could take it to
Wilson
the house.
has speed. It's just you got to, just the routes that he's running doesn't allow him to show it right across the middle, and then he's tackled fairly quickly. And
But
stuff
okay,
but I don't disagree with you. There is no speed on this
let
team.
me put it to you like this.
Yeah.
Do you think you could throw like a little hitch or a little wide receiver screen to Wilson, and you think he can house it?
No, but I know who can.
Malik Neighbors?
No, a Dortch.
Who?
Dortch.
Oh, look, Dorsch is a more elusive than he is fast. He's he's a guy that makes you try and miss like that. And look, no. I need that Malik Neighbors type
I don't
guy
disagree.
that you have.
Yeah,
You know,
I don't
and
disagree
they
with you.
just don't have that.
Yeah, and that goes back to the coach. So I tend to agree with you on the GM. I believe GM should get 2 chances with head coaches before they get blown out.
Yeah.
But the problem is you have to redo the offensive line. You have to redo the quarterback
that's the
position.
thing.
You have to redo the running back position. The defense obviously isn't where it needs to be, and they spent all of this money on them, and they actually regressed. I told Dale yesterday, if you brought back last year's defense with Kazir White and Gardak and that, this defense played better last year with those guys than they did with these big money and these rookies that they have this year.
White and Gardeck were there. Brooks and Gillespie.
Yes.
Defensively.
Yes.
I agree. And they lost that. I firmly believe they lost that toughness. Now, the defense is overperforming this year as well, for the most part. I mean, I gave the example yesterday. A lot of people are like, defense is sucking. I literally gave the first half plays of the Rams on Sunday. Like, that defense was worn out and tired before the end of that second quarter yesterday, with how much they were on the field and 10 plays, 65 yards, 12 plays.
Well, at some point,
75 yards.
But here's the alarming thing. There.
And they quit. Yeah, they quit. On
they never really got the Rams in a single third down.
Yeah.
How does that happen?
Or third down long. They had some third down and 4 or 5, which is
I don't
right up
remember.
their
I
alley.
don't remember them converting any third downs. I was watching the game. I'm like, dang, But you might be right. I'm just so freaking teed that I'm even watching the game. I mean, they just get me upset.
But Coop, here's the thing: if we're looking forward, because obviously there's no reason to look present or behind with the Cardinals, is the fact that all right, you draft Jeremiah Love.
Thank you.
You draft him. You got to replace your right tackle. You got to replace your right guard. You got to replace your left guard. They need to be replaced and probably get a new offensive line coach.
But Dale, that's all fine. But let me look. I've used this analogy before. The Cardinals under Buddy Ryan, they signed this. I always have a struggle. Remember the left tackle's name. They signed this left tackle.
Not Lomas Brown.
No. They that was a nice
Lomas
draft.
was a draft.
Yeah,
They took
draft.
him instead of Adrian Peterson.
But yeah.
No.
They drafted.
No.
Is that not Lomas Brown?
Levi Brown.
Oh, yeah, wrong.
Levi Brown.
Wrong Browns.
But
they're cousins.
Yeah, but the point I'm trying to make is that they signed this guy as a free agent. They gave him a boatload of money. And then we found out that he was represented by Buddy Ryan's son.
Yes.
All right? So then we understood. But the guy was like a sieve to the backfield. He was horrible. Well, the Cardinals, when they blew out Buddy, they make the change. The guy's gone. The guy lands in Detroit. He is a starting right tackle for the Lions, and Barry Sanders rushed for over 2,000 yards. But how many times did you see Barry Sanders have defensive linemen in the backfield, and he's eluding them and making positive yards? So my whole point, I go back to this again, Dale. If you can take I'll take a playmaker over an offensive lineman. I know you're an offensive lineman. I don't want to cause you any grief there. But I'll do, unless I'm a team that has already established and I'm just need to short my offensive line. That's when I go. But in the first round, in the top 10, especially, because the Cardinals going to have a top 10 pick, I can't go. I can't do that. I know I said on this show, I take you to that 89 draft. Packers had the second overall pick behind the Cowboys, who took Troy Aikman. They took a guy named Tony Mandrich. Yep. The guys behind him, Barry Sanders, Derek Thomas, Deion Sanders. Do I need to go in?
No, you don't.
So that's my point. So that's why I'm taking Jeremiah Love. And then if I have to go and trade for an offensive lineman, maybe sign one as a free agent, that's what I have to do. Or if I have to find one lower in the draft, I have to do that. But I cannot. Or how about this? Maybe I just develop some of the guys that I've already drafted that aren't doing a darn thing.
Can't develop anybody.
But hey, here's the thing, and people get blown away by this. If you go from left to right on our Dallas Cowboys offensive line that won 3 Super Bowls in 4 years, Mark Tuinei was a free agent defensive lineman that they moved to left tackle. Nate Newton was a free agent from the USFL that they moved to Dallas in the left guard. Mark Stepnoski, our center, 3rd-round draft pick. Our right guard, some of it was John Giesick, some of it was Larry Allen. Larry Allen was the highest drafted guy.
Wow, Larry Allen was a Hall of Famer, dude.
Yeah, second round draft pick.
Okay.
From a small school.
And right tackle is Eric Williams, and he's a 3rd-round draft pick. Not a first rounder amongst them. Yeah. And so again, you can put lines together without taking top 10 picks. I understand that.
Yeah, I remember the Redskins under George Allen with the Hogs. None of them were.
That goes to developing talent. And this team and this coaching staff. Name somebody that's developed and improved.
You had that offensive line coach that came here with the Cardinals. Who's the offensive line coach for the Redskins back in the day?
Joe Bugle.
Yeah, Joe Bugle. Yeah. A hell of an offensive line coach. This guy here, he probably needs to go back to Ohio State.
Is it a coincidence Ohio State's dominating this year now? But, I mean, you go back to the development of stuff, and then I'm going to lead you to this. So you see it here on my screen. I don't have the audio specifically on this, but what's the injury situation with the Cardinals, right? Trey Benson, they brought him back and opened his window, which tells you he's healthy enough to start practicing.
Yeah, but
now he's practicing. You see video of him practicing, and now Jonathan Gannon yesterday says he's not quite sure if he's going to come back on the team or go on IR. For the rest
he's another one of those Austin Ford draft picks that has just not done anything.
And then you go to Kyler Murray here, right? He was asked specifically, I think by Gamble yesterday, if Kyler Murray had a setback, because they're not using the word setback with Trey. It's either a setback or you opened his window when he wasn't ready with Trey Benson, right? Then Kyler Murray. And he said, I wouldn't call it basically a setback. They're all kind of different. How he was doing, how he was rehabbing, all of those things. We just stalled out a little bit. Then he got a couple other opinions, and he needs rest. Have you ever heard of a foot injury? I mean, we got a football guy here. Have you ever heard of a foot injury that didn't require surgery, didn't require a walking boot, allowed you to practice at full speed for 2 weeks leading up to that Cowboys game before you go on IR? Have we ever heard of a foot injury that just needs rest and you're unable to play because you just need over a month, 2 months worth of rest on a foot injury.
It's funny you say that because I just saw this on Twitter 30 minutes ago. All-Pro offensive tackle Lane Johnson had a Liz Frank fracture earlier in the year, and he's due to come back either this week or next.
Yeah. And that's but he was in a walking boot. Liz Franks are very painful. You're in a walking boot. You're rehabbing it. All that. It's just there are questions on the medical staff here with this team. There's questions on how they're operating with these team guys, and it's frustrating. It's ridiculous. And then for Jonathan Gannon to say, "I'm not quite sure if Trey Benson can come," you know.
Well, first of all, Benson is just let's go ahead and call him borderline bust. All right.
I don't know if he's borderline now.
Yeah. Now, and as it relates to Kyler Murray, look, once Murray, I think he was so humiliated and embarrassed.
I agree with you
after that Tennessee loss that he wanted to maybe look for an excuse and say that
I'm watching the game at home, and who was the guy that did the color analyst, the defensive guy? He's sitting there going, "Oh, I've been in that position with a bone bruise, and it's just hard to heal." And I'm like, why is everybody making? I understand the Cardinals putting good faith on it because they're going to unload him in the offseason or whatever. Yeah. But this is ridiculous. People aren't stupid. Stop acting like we're stupid and stuff like that. Stuff. Just Kyler Murray doesn't want to play. Cardinals don't want him to play. He doesn't want to play. Let's just move on with our lives and move on. Why are we still pretending that a ball off the face hurt his foot so bad that he needs 2 months off without surgery in a walking boot? It's insulting. What are we doing?
Well, I'll take you back to how the Raiders handled this similar situation. They had a guy named Derek Carr that they had a lot of money invested into. And so they realized that they needed to move on from Derek Carr. But they weren't going to pay him send him out on the field and play him and risk him getting hurt.
Exactly.
That's the situation I see with the Cardinals and Kyler Murray. The Cardinals have decided they're going to move on from him, but instead of being transparent about the thing, and maybe it's because the Murray camp is trying to save face, and they tell the Cardinals, "Hey, well, we'll mutually."
Why are you listening to Murray's camp?
I don't know. Why
does Kyler Murray dictate everything with the Cardinals? He's always dictated everything.
That's just speculation on my part.
No, you're right,
I don't know that for a fact.
Right,
but my point is that this situation is eerily similar to me to what the Raiders faced with Derek Carr when they decided they were going to move on.
This is my point, though. We know what's happening.
Yeah.
And then they're still pretending that he's got a bone bruise 8 weeks later.
Yeah.
Well, at the end of the day, I think they are allowing the people who are smart enough to understand we're not playing him because if he gets hurt again, we're going to owe him a bunch of money.
That's what they were saying with the Raiders, and then the Raiders moved him to the New Orleans Saints, and so
But it's almost like when you have a Cardinals coaching staff the fan base has an issue with their coaching staff, but Jonathan Gannon saying, we're just going to wake up tomorrow and get back to work. We just got to work harder every week after blowout losses and everything. The fan base is tired of it, and they have a trust issue with the fan base, and this isn't helping it, and this isn't helping it on, and it's affecting people showing up. I've been to Cardinals games, seasons where they've won 3 games, 4 games, 5 games. I've never seen it this apathetic ever. Even in Sun Devil days, there was a lot of apathy, but not to this level. Long time, like your brother, long time season ticket holders. There's always people that threaten to leave, and stuff to that effect. But long-time season ticket holders are now having enough. And it goes to that trust issue of no faith of what's coming down the pipeline. Here's Jonathan Gannon. He was asked yesterday on how the players are feeling after Sunday's blowout loss here. So here's Jonathan Gannon talking about the players.
They're down, obviously, you know what I mean, but they're gonna keep beating on the wall, man. You know what I mean? They're pros. We got good guys in there. They want to go out and compete. They're not happy right now. But it's the solutions are there. We just got to go do it.
Well,
what solutions are there, Dale?
Hey, let me tell you something. That fourth quarter, I was saying this yesterday. I bet on some really, really good football teams, and on a couple really, really bad football teams. And that defense Sunday, fourth quarter, Coop, you could have gained 75 yards rushing against them.
They quit.
I mean, that was a team that said, "No mas, I quit. I'm not chasing the ball. I'm not getting to my gap. And the body language, I'm a big body language guy. Some people will say too big a body language guy, but I can always, in my mind, I can tell when Steve's telling me to F off without saying it, just by his body language. And that body language the Cardinals had on Sunday, mainly fourth quarter, starting the second half, was we're done.
Yeah, well, I didn't like Will Johnson's body language going one-on-one against Puka Nacua.
Yeah.
It's like he was waving a white flag. Yeah.
How is Puka Nacua around in the fifth round? Coop, how's he around in the fifth round?
Well, there have been some Hall of Famers in the NFL who were just total free agents, and so I think Steve Largent comes to mind and stuff. So
Carter from the Vikings, drafted free agent.
Yeah, and so it happens. I mean, I remember watching Puka at UCLA. I thought he was strictly a possession receiver. You know, much like
what they used him as,
much like they have a guy now currently, Chase Roberts. But I mean, when I see Puka in the NFL getting separation on some 9 routes and stuff, I'm like, dude, I didn't see that in college.
He's a work of art. Yeah, but it comes again, coaching.
Sure,
Throw it out the design of the play route. Let's just torture ourselves some more here, gentlemen, as we wrap up this Cardinals talk and everything. By the way, some good news. Workout has happened in Indianapolis with Phillip Rivers. Talks are ongoing to sign him up.
Let's go, Phillip.
So, reportedly, the workout went well there for 44-year-old.
When's the last time he played?
2020.
5 years ago. Wow.
He turned 44 yesterday.
Well, I'll tell you this. At least you know that he can operate an offense. He can read defenses. Those things aren't going to leave him. Now, physically, can he? What can he do? We don't know that. But when you're left with, Riley Leonard, who was with Notre Dame a year ago,
and he has a bum knee.
Yeah, and he has a bum knee, and then you have some guy I've never heard of on the practice squad that you may elevate. I'd go pull a Joe Flacco. I'd say, I'd pull Joe.
Well, that's what I was saying. He's not going to be able to throw the ball 40 yards down the field, probably, but can he execute? And he's been with the head coach of the Colts before, Steichen. So he knows the offense. Sure. He knows that stuff. And can he hand the ball off to the offense? And can he make 5-10 pass routes and stuff? What I worry about with him, though, as I said earlier in the show, the speed of the game. He's gonna. Speed is. I don't know how fast and how long it takes to get the speed back. Because that defensive back.
But you know what? I just look at him as one of those cerebral savants.
Mm-hmm. Very smart.
He's going to be able to step in, look, and come up with some pre-snap reads and get the team where they need to. Where he's going to get the ball out quickly.
But it goes to my next point. Another team you can chalk up. Now they're in the playoff hunt. I get it. But another team making changes to try to improve what their situation they're in. Name one change the Cardinals have made this year. One.
And remember, you also got Jonathan Taylor lined up behind him.
That's a very good point.
A pretty good offensive line. And the thing about when you look at Phillip Rivers, it's not like he was at one time a guy who could throw the ball 70 yards down the field.
And he couldn't run at all.
Or could, I can say.
He always had those big braces where he couldn't even bend his knees as he tried to move. But let's torture ourselves a little bit. Hey, Jonathan Gannon, how do you stop the bleeding that's occurring this year with the Cardinals?
Well, you got to knock one down, and then that kind of flips it a little bit. And when I mean knock one down, you got to win a game. So you got to put all your energy and focus, trust your process, do it a little bit better, and go out and coach and play well. To win a game for 60, you got to do that for 60 minutes better than any other team, and then you're kind of out of it.
He named 3 things they need to do: coach better, play better, and win. And they can do none of the 3.
How long have you been saying that?
Yeah, weeks. He says it every week.
And let me tell you something. I think his best and only opportunity to
trust
do just
the process is the other thing he said.
Yeah, I think his only chance to do that comes in week 16, a game I'm actually going to. The Cardinals are hosting the Atlanta Falcons.
Yeah. You're going to that game. Huh?
I have some friends in there tailgating, and so I'm actually going to that game.
I've had my tickets for sale for that game for like a month now, and they're dirt cheap for where I sit. Nobody's interested.
Coop, you sitting in the suite?
No.
You're sitting out with the unwashed?
Yeah.
You're not
As
calling.
well, you know what? That's a good point. I'm not sure.
Yeah,
I'm
you
not
need
sure.
to call your boy Mark Dalton. Say, hey, can you get me in the press box?
They'll be like, Coop who?
Yeah, really, yeah.
When
Look,
they're done with you, they're
I'm
done with you.
I'm not really sure. I've said that, but I'm not really sure where I'm sitting because they're providing the tickets anyway, and
Okay.
so they got me coming along. So,
Well, I can tell you this: you better be lower level or someplace good because they're dirt cheap.
yeah. Well,
If they're not lower level, you call me because I might have some club level tickets. I don't want to waste my time driving across town.
all right. Well, I think that's the Cardinals' only chance at winning. And to be honest with you, I wouldn't mind seeing them lose just for the better draft pick. I really would.
Yeah.
I mean,
who's
that's
coming
what-
in with the
that-
calf injury or can't catch? when they get here?
Look. When I'm looking at a team that was eliminated from the playoffs in November, you darn tootin'. Cardinal fans, we deserve to look ahead and try to prognosticate and at least feel better about what's going on.
I would prefer them take whatever draft picks they have and put it together and draft somebody that's proven to play in the NFL before. Josh Sweat's been a heck of a signing quietly. Right, because he's had 11 sacks on the year.
You got him
and
as
all
a
that
free
stuff.
agent, but
I mean, you get somebody.
But here's
get
the deal.
somebody that's proven
No.
to play in the NFL with your draft picks instead of taking a chance on a guy like Marvin Harrison Jr. that's just gonna let you down like they always do.
Hey, look, you can't use the Cardinals as that example because I mean, you look at the New York Giants; they've done well with the Malik Neighbors with. The quarterback their first round pick, Jackson Dart. I mean, and even Cam Scatterbo. I mean, there are teams that do draft well.
But I don't disagree with that. That's why the Giants sucking. That was all on Dable and the GM. I firmly believe in that.
Yeah, but you don't have to look very far at all to look at draft picks and how you rebuild a franchise because it's about a 6-hour drive straight west. And that's the team that just came in here and dismantled the Cardinals. It's like they can't miss on draft picks.
But then that's kind of the argument is
point,
you look at
very
teams that draft well and still struggle. That ain't the Cardinals. They can't get the high end free agent. Only reason they got Josh Sweat was because there was a relationship with Jonathan Gannon, and then they got him for a deal on top of it.
They paid him the most.
And stuff. It's just I just don't have faith in this whole entity of the Cardinals to kind of turn this around and get it in there. Some reason Bruce Arians was able to come in here, but what happened? He got disenfranchised with everybody, not giving him more control and things to that effect. So he retires and comes back in Tampa Bay. It's just even when you get something good, it's embarrassing.
Yeah. Even like Dale mentioned, and he's very right. The Rams have drafted extremely well, and then you look at the Seattle Seahawks, who are looking to turn the corner from Russell Wilson. They've done nothing but draft well as well.
Yeah.
I mean, look.
I mean, the Rams lost Aaron Donald, the best defensive lineman of our generation, for sure. And they haven't missed a beat.
I think they're better today than they were with him.
Jared Verse was like, I think, with their first-round pick. They come in with Colby Turner. I mean, just no matter who they draft, it seems like it's a winner.
But Seattle's the same way.
First round to the seventh round.
Niners got the last guy in the draft, and he's their starting quarterback now because they were able to develop him and put him in there.
And then when Brock Purdy gets hurt, and then they take a Patriots cast off and Mac Jones, and then you can argue that the 49ers were playing even better with Mac Jones under center.
Yeah, you guys are depressing me.
By the way, evidently Paris Johnson Jr. has a sprained MCL considered week to week. I've got a piece of Nicorette gum that says we don't see number 70 suit up again this year.
Well, if I'm the Cardinals, I don't. I mean, I'm not going to fool around with that. I mean, you know what you have in him.
Right.
And so here's a chance. They drafted a kid out of Texas that I was intrigued with, Christian Jones. Played really well blocking for some kid named Bijan Robinson. Maybe you heard of him.
Yeah.
Well, the Cardinals draft him in the 5th round. And, I mean, I think this is his 2nd or 3rd year now. And, dude, he's not seeing the field. Here's a chance. And he's been hurt pretty much all this year. I understand that they maybe have a window that's opened up for him to return. They need to get his behind out there on that field at left tackle, and let's see what you have in him. I think he played one game last year at left tackle because Paris may have been a little nicked up, and he held his own pretty well. Okay. Well, I'd like to see, and I'm sure Cardinal coaches and fans would like to see more of him. Let's see what you have in him.
Right. So
play
we
him.
can make a decision.
Yeah, so let's sit Paris Johnson.
Well,
the season's already lost anyway,
that's
and
what
let's
they
see what
did.
you have in Christian Jones.
I think that's what they did with their receivers, right? Some kid named Brooks got a pass.
Jalen Brooks, they picked him up from the Cowboys.
And it's like, all right, let's play these young guys and see what we can get. We're not going anywhere. Which Jonathan Gannon's just not acting like a coach that feels like he's in trouble, and that is what worries me.
Well, it would worry me too if he feels that comfortable. He must know that maybe Michael Bidwill has one of these Steve Keim relationships with him, where you're just not getting rid of him.
Or I mean, you do. This is a real factor. They're paying 3 coaches. You want to pay a 4th one?
Yeah.
That is a real factor.
Do you want to pay him with somebody else's money? Or you want to pay him with your money?
Look. They're already paying the difference between. They're not. Let's put it like this. I don't know what the difference is, but they're not paying Cliff Kingsbury's full salary.
No, because of the offset.
Yeah. And so Steve Wilkes would be the same thing, because Steve Wilkes is employed as well. So whatever that number is, it's not the full number.
No,
right.
but
and so
adds up.
Jonathan Gannon would be the full number.
You don't think he'd get a defensive coordinator job?
I don't think right away. I could be wrong.
Well, you got to remember too. I mean, he was not liked in the Eagles. Were not sad that he left to come here to be a head coach. Which should tell
they're
you
not
something
sad to
also.
see him go. And here's the Cardinals losing draft pick for tampering with him. Is that so, Cardinals?
When we come back, let's go college football talk. As well. And then we'll do a little bit of Suns and
We better do some
Dale
Suns.
asks all the time why I hate Minnesota. Rudy Gobert is a perfect example of it.
Yeah,
Just
you tried to hurt our
horrible
guy.
people out there.
Tried
in
to hurt
Minnesota.
our guy.
Just miserable people there in Minnesota. Come on back, folks. The main event. And we're back here. Tuesdays means Bruce Cooper. This guy is in the building. Of course, Dale Hellestrade. Me, I'm Stephen McCollum. And look, but before we get into a little bit of Suns talk here coming up, I mean, we talked college football playoff for a little bit. Look, we can argue. They can go to 16. It's still going to be an argument on who's 16, 17, 18. It's part of the fun of it, I think. But I do believe they need to get the committee out of this, in my opinion. The committee is biased. And it's not going to happen, but college football needs to get ESPN and the broadcast networks out of it in these situations.
And they
as
ain't
well.
going to do that.
And they're not going to do that. Their money is too great. My favorite thing is I watched the pregame and ESPN's like, we have nothing to do with the committee's decisions. And then literally in the next breath, let's go to our reporter who's in there while they're deciding who's going to get into these playoffs, and let's see what they're talking about. And I'm like, you can't say you have nothing to do with it and then say you have people in there talking to them when nobody else has access to them because they're closed in a bubble.
Everyone knows that they're married to the SEC, and so you see that contractually with their games and stuff like that. So even if you looked at the conference championship games, well, they thought they were going to have the best matchup with Georgia, Alabama,
right?
But more people watch Indiana, Ohio State.
Yep.
On Fox in the Big Ten game, and so
I think this is what annoys me about it. I like Alabama's a good team. Don't take this the wrong way. They're a better than good team, in the SEC. Are they the best? No, not even close. But I was telling you, and when we were doing the picks, this is a terrible game. Like Georgia's boat racing these. I didn't think it would be that bad. But I was like, Georgia's winning this game. I think most of the people looked at it and said, Alabama shouldn't even be in this game.
Yeah.
We don't have the best SEC. The Texas A&M's not in there. I would even give Texas I would have liked to seen in there.
Yeah.
And all of this stuff. And that's the problem with it is the scenario we have. And then your buddy, Cam Cox, came at me on Twitter the other day because I called them meaningless bowl games when Notre Dame pulled out of the bowl game system. 10 teams denied bowl invitations. Bowl games used to be a reward. They've now made bowl games meaningless if you don't make the college football playoffs to a certain segment. ASU, Arizona, they're happy to be at the Holiday Bowl and the Sun Bowl. They get more practice time, etc. But we're moving away from bowl games as a reward. We're way past that. These are now meaningless bowl games for teams is what they're creating. That's why they have to go to 16 and 24 because bowl games are going to go away. People are going to start refusing to play bowl games if they don't make the playoff. And that's a sad state of affairs.
Well, you already saw a trend where athletes, the players,
Yes.
if they weren't in the college football playoff games, they didn't play in their bowl game.
Right.
They went and got ready for the NFL draft. I think is it Caleb Downs with Ohio State who came out and said he's not going to play in the college football playoffs. He's going to concentrate on the NFL draft.
I did not see that.
I believe
did
it.
not either.
I believe it's Caleb Downs.
Okay.
And Downs is like regarded
Really?
as a top 10
Right.
pick. And so not even the lure of defending the national title is enough to keep
Right.
him from,
Right.
No, we're going to go to that because, well, I don't. This is what's in NIL money is going to control it when they're going to protect themselves.
But are you going to start seeing like contracts signed? Are you going to start getting contracts signed that says to receive your NIL, you will complete the season? You will.
Well,
They need professional contracts.
They need to
from
do
there,
something.
stuff like that.
well, if you did that, then the NC2A would be on the hook, or these teams be on the hook, calling them employees. And so if you call them an employee, Dale, you now have to make that insurance and things like that available to these guys, and that's a thing that the
It's
NCAA.
a crazy thing that we're going down. And I know we're getting to the Suns. I do want to get this out because it's the elephant in the room.
Yep.
Coop, are we going to be alive the next time ASU is relevant in football? You
Dale,
and me.
Dale,
You and me.
Dale, you know what? In Kenny, I trust. I
Really?
Yeah.
He said we're going to have a quarterback next year.
Yeah, and look, I don't think that he's out tampering. He must really believe in either Jake Fetty, their 2026 recruit, or Cam Dyer, who I would love to see play in the Sun Bowl in place of. I think you came up with a good
Jeff
solution
Sims?
last week. You let Sims play the first half.
Or-
as a reward, and then you give the second half.
With
to,
the bowl, and I will say that Kenny did say that Cam Dyer will have packages. But yeah,
Oh, did he really?
Yeah, he did come out and say that
Oh.
last couple of days. But yeah, you go into this, you got to give Jeff Sims an opportunity to play in it because it is a reward for him and what he did this year. It's a senior year.
Yeah, 9 turnovers in 2
but you
games.
got it, and that's the thing about a bowl game is you can work packages in for Dryer and stuff like that. And I think I said it. I don't know if I said it on air, but if you don't see Cam in this game coming up here, what are we doing? Why are we wasting our time in the Sun Bowl if you don't see the young kids playing?
Sure.
Just see what you got coming up.
Sure, I already saw that Jaden Fortier, who was the number 1 rated player coming out of Oregon a couple of years ago, tight end, came to ASU, and much like Dyer, he was hurt, and so he kind of missed his true freshman season. Well, he didn't take a snap at all this year, and so he's already entered the portal. So that's one of the things I was worried about. Some of the guys at Arizona State, and then we talked about Ia being one of those guys that they rarely played, and so and if you look at how highly celebrated they were in terms of their ratings coming into the program. And I know ASU was a senior-dominated team, but I mean, for goodness' sake, I'd have found a way to at least get them.
Yeah,
on the
but
field.
I think maybe this is a learning process for ASU. I think the fact that they were so senior laden with all the injuries and the way they handle it, hopefully this is a learning experience for them because you've already seen a lot of kids going into the portal.
Yeah.
That normally wouldn't and stuff to that effect going in there. But Sam Levitt misses the banquet. They say there's all this love between them and all of that still and everything, but not showing up to the banquet for your brothers and stuff like that.
I think that speaks for me. That speaks volumes.
Yes.
I mean, it really does. I mean, they talked about how the teammates talked about how Sam showed up at practices.
Right.
Yeah,
You know,
he was out there with his scooter.
Right. And yet on the banquet, when everybody comes there to celebrate the season, the camaraderie and all that stuff like that, you get to mix in with boosters, fans, stuff like he doesn't show.
Yeah.
I think that's a telltale sign to me that he's gone. And then I hear Kenny Dillingham say that we will have a good quarterback next week.
And we wish him well. Yeah, and
Well,
the thing is, Coop, I say as a college kid, I know he's got NIL. I had a little bit at SMU. But if you're gonna offer me a free meal, Coop, I'm gonna show up. I'm gonna show up, especially if you're a captain. You know you're gonna be introduced.
But he's making $3 million, I hear.
Yeah.
So I don't need
I
that
fell a
free
little
meal.
short of that. You don't want chicken dinner.
Yeah.
Well, So it came out in reporting. Anthony Tautry of PHNX came out and he said, and I can, and because I told you, I said if Sam Levitt's leaving, he's got to be figuring out, because he was going to be a top level draft pick this year going to the season, Heisman Trophy candidate, and he struggled even when he was playing.
Yeah.
But there are reports.
That's why stock fell. Yeah.
Yeah, and there are reports out there that he wants to leave because he doesn't believe Arizona State can produce an offensive line to protect him.
Wow, did he say that?
Well, he hasn't said it out, but that's what's being reported from people that are reporting that out there.
Wow.
And they just flipped that kid from Georgia,
Yeah,
the
they
6'8" guy. But the offensive line, Sam Levitt got hurt because he runs the ball in, let's say, dangerous ways. He doesn't slide. He takes the big hits. Got injured last year in the ribs by taking a big hit. This year got hurt running the ball again. And they were designed runs where he pulled the ball down and run them. For him to blame, I'll put it this: my shine on Sam Levitt is gone. I think he's a phenomenal quarterback side, but he's shown he's selfish, which I didn't think he was, and he's shown if he's blaming this on the offensive line and failure to protect him on the offensive line, that offensive line wasn't his problem.
Yeah, and 2 of the 5 starting offensive linemen, Coleman and Hennisher, they are both NFL.
Well, Coleman's not anymore. He's not going to do it. But he's too injured. He's not moving on, I guess.
Oh, he's not?
That's what I read. I don't know.
Okay. Well, they were both rated as NFL draft prospects.
Yeah, and I mean, they were both high end. And no, they had offensive line problems. Don't get me wrong.
Sure.
But that wasn't his problem. And to use that as an excuse, not show up to the there was even reported that him and Kenny had a meeting before the banquet, hours before the banquet, and everything was fine in that. And I firmly believe Kenny Dillingham was shocked he wasn't at that banquet.
Yeah,
that's a selfish disrespect.
Yeah, well, I think the initial reporting that came out and in which Sam's brother / agent denied it. I think Sam is going to the highest bidder.
Right.
And so he's going to maximize his millions.
And I won't blame him for that.
Yeah, absolutely.
I won't blame because Sam Levitt might not be a high-level draft pick coming up. So go get your money now.
Yes, but don't throw shade on the offensive line. I had no idea he did
this is my problem. Yeah,
well,
PHNX reported
well, that and no matter if he's going to the highest bidder or not, go to the damn banquet.
This is my point.
Go to the banquet. I don't care. As an offensive lineman, show up there that night. And then you go do, it's a business now. You go do what you got to do.
Nobody can do it. That's what bothers me about it.
I hate to switch gears real quickly, but did you guys see where Brock Purdy bought his offensive linemen these Tundra trucks?
Okay. Let's be careful on that. Brock Purdy is sponsored by Toyota. I mean, he didn't pay full retail price for these things.
But I'm telling you this. I'm telling you this. Whether he paid full boat, half boat, quarter boat. He got them Tundras.
It doesn't matter how he got
Troy used to be sponsored by this suit company and American Airlines. And every Christmas we'd get 4 first-class tickets anywhere American flies. We get, I think it's a $1,500 gift certificate to this high-end suit thing to where me and my offensive lineman thought.
So you might get one suit out of that.
But me and my offensive lineman the first year go, man, we can get 3 suits out of this thing. We show up. We get 1. Oh, you want a shirt with it? That's extra.
Look, we used to give out at Channel 12 this gift certificate to a jewelry store.
Yeah.
And we thought it was pretty good until one of the athletes says, "Hey man, you can't even find a piece of jewelry for that price."
You're spending money.
He said they just want us to get in, and so we can spend above that. I'm like, okay.
Yeah.
So that's why I said the 1 suit.
Yeah,
that's hilarious how that works. But it's just I don't know. It's just sad. It's a Lane Kiffin thing to me. I don't leave. Yeah. Better your life, better your progress, better go someplace where you feel like you'll be better. It's how you leave that bothers me. And Sam Levitt, unfortunately, as I thought really highly of him, and he would have been, like I said yesterday, he's not going to be at the Jake Plummer level. That's a whole different level. But he's in that stratosphere of Plummer, where with what he did last year, he could have been a god. I think it's going to come down to where he's going to be a tier down or two. From that now, just because of the way he's leaving.
Hey, look. How much? I don't know if it's possible for Cam Scatterboo to have gotten any more love and adulation from Sun Devil fan, but he showed up at Territorial Cup on his little wagon scooter.
And he scooted down the field like they did him at they did the stuff at midfield, and he scooted on the grass. Anybody that's had one of those scooters knows those things don't move very well on uneven terrain. He scoots down to the student section and celebrates with them. He did watch the whole game with Sound Love. They had matching scooters next to each other and everything and stuff like that. No, I can tell you this: being there for that Territorial Cup, even my kids were like, "Where's Cam at? Where's Cam at?" Like, it was just Cam's back in the building. Yeah. Cam is definitely in the plumber level of that stuff there. Before we get to Suns really quick here, Robert just put this out, and it's from Major League Baseball Network. Edwin Diaz is in agreement to a deal with the Dodgers. Why don't we just why don't we just at this point just say if you're a big level free agent, the Dodgers get you and everybody else gets you?
Well, I know who they're not going to get. They're not going to get Schwarber. Schwarber re-signed with Philly.
Oh, did he?
Yeah.
He's going to be the one that resigns.
Well, heck, the Dodgers might wind up with Ketel Marte for that matter.
Yeah, well, this is kind of where I'm going to here, right? It's just now the Dodgers needed bullpen help, obviously, a lot of it. But just what are we doing, man? It's just what is baseball?
Best team money can buy.
Lockout after this year? It's got to be coming, right?
I think so. I think I think there's some owners, probably a majority of them, who want to get some type of financial control because the teams like the Dodgers are just
even when the Yankees come out and go, we can't spend like the Dodgers, and the Yankees have an ungodly amount of money, and they're even looking at it going, we can't compete.
Well, when it's the disparity and this is what a lot of people don't understand. Like football,
it's parity.
All 32 teams get the same amount of money for their national TV contract. That means Jacksonville, Green Bay, New York,
Cardinals,
L.A., Cardinals. They're all getting a TV check that's almost $500 million now. Covers, Coop, how would you like that? Run a business, you get a check that covers everything and some, and you haven't sold a seat, you haven't sold a suite, you haven't sold a beer. And all that's grave and time.
66% of NFL revenue as of end of 2023 season. Last year we had the number. 66% of their revenue comes from TV contracts.
Yeah.
But it's because they got the Cowboys.
And that's just a national TV contract.
Yeah,
that doesn't even include the local stuff.
But the locals, but that's the thing. In baseball, the Yankees' local TV broadcast pays them hundreds of millions of dollars.
Well, they own it. That's why the Dodgers are so good.
Right.
The Dodgers TV package pays for basically their payroll. They will not be. Dodgers will never go into debt just off of their regional TV package.
Right, and the Diamondbacks can't do that.
No, not even close. And then that's why I think we have a lockout coming up and stuff
I agree.
like that. But hey, no Booker last night. An injured Dylan going into this game, and then your guys' buddy Colin Gillespie. I don't have the audio for it, but because I couldn't hear it very well, I couldn't get it to work. But Ant-Man after the game, I've seen multiple players of opponents after they play the Suns give credit to number 12.
Hey, look, he's beaten Minnesota twice now. And Phoenix with a game winner with under 10 seconds to play, and then last night, 11 of his 19 points come in the fourth quarter. And now, when the Timberwolves cut it to 1, well, he's the guy that Phoenix wants the ball in his hand. He's fouled. He makes both foul shots.
Right.
It's just a 3-point game. Now, here's the thing that I found really amusing about Jordan Ott. I'm saying, and matter of fact, I was at a sports bar last night watching it with some friends. I asked him, okay, how many of you are going to foul before they get up a 3-pointer? Everybody said they raised a hand. I raised my hand as well. Okay, we're going to look for a foul. Who should they foul? Yeah. We're looking at who's coming out on the court. Suns don't try to foul. They play defense. And here's the thing that's so fascinating. I'm sure you guys probably talked about this earlier. I'm going to round it up. The final 4 minutes of the game, Suns scored 3 points, and they win the game.
Yeah.
They're winning. And that's what we talked about on this show a few weeks ago. We talked about how defense travels. Yes. That's what we said. Defense travel.
Yeah.
They won that game defensively.
Coop, here's all I needed to hear this season. First half of the season. We'll worry about the second half, and I'm sure our expectations will change a little bit. But when J.J. Redick came out after they played the Lakers and said, if you don't bring it against this Suns group, they're going to beat you silly.
And that was his first time playing the Suns this year. So that means that he's watched a lot of film.
Yeah.
A lot of film
and
study.
they got to feel it, got to see it firsthand, and went.
They got blown out.
And I loved it because, see, I've learned to hate Luka Doncic because I hate the way he antagonizes our players. You know, the
Booker
pictures,
specifically?
he's still at that free throw line, just smiling up at him. That image just burns the heck out of me. So he drops 20 on the Suns in the first quarter, and then the Suns in the second quarter, they stole the ball from him 5 times that led to transition point. He was so freaking frustrated. He had 9 turnovers total for the game.
Right.
I mean, he's sitting on the bench. He's just frustrated, and I loved it. Dylan Brooks got in his grill. He got in LeBron James's grill. I said, I love Dylan Brooks.
Yes,
I hated him before. I hated him before this. I love Dylan Brooks. He's my boy.
It only took 30 games and he was falling in love.
And so there's no question. And see, and you talked about earlier in the show here today how when's the last time you saw a Phoenix Suns player questionable and then play in that game? And we're talking specifically about Dylan Brooks. Well, I've noticed recently, last few games, that Gillespie has some type of lower back issue. Yeah. Even flared up again last night. But that kid toughs through it. Yep. He plays through it. I love Colin Gillespie. I mean,
well, like to Dale's point, I mean, everybody in the league, when they play him, just go to your Twitter and just search the opposing team's coaching and opposing team's massive players. They're just giving tons of props to the Suns with how they're playing this year.
And so here's it is: the Suns have to go in their next game
Oklahoma
is the
City.
Quarterfinal of the Cup, and they're going to play in Oklahoma City for a second time. And we know they were down 2 points, under 10 seconds left, and Colin Gillespie had stole it was a loose ball. If the Suns pick it up, they have a chance to shoot a 3 and walk off winners, but they didn't. Oklahoma came up with the loose ball. Suns fouled. They make 2 free throws, 123.
Well, Gillespie got hurt too.
Yeah,
at the end of that.
So hold on. Did SGA have to play in the fourth quarter against the Suns?
Yeah,
he did. Okay.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, because he doesn't play in fourth quarters.
He was all tired. He was tired. He was like, "What's this fourth quarter thing?"
And you know what? You know what drives me crazy? Let's see, who was it last night for the Suns? They were driving to the. It was Grayson Allen driving to the basket, kind of used an elbow to push off somebody and got the layup, and they called offensive foul. I said, "Frickin' SGA does that all the frickin' time."
He gets a foul called against him. Yeah.
The thing about Jordan Knott that I noticed last night, because I think Jordan Knott, like I said, it goes to the coaching side. We talk about the Cardinals. The Cardinals just don't have the right coach for this team right now. Period. End of story. Head coach, all on down, in my opinion.
Yeah, absolutely.
The Suns got the hire right. And once Rudy Gobert, became a giant baby last night like he does and gets kicked out of the game for pushing him from behind and all that stuff. Once that happened, what did the Suns do? They started attacking underneath, feeding Mark Williams the ball now and all this stuff. And they went directly at him. No more threes were being shot. It was, let's go underneath because their star defender's out. But you don't see that in the NBA
Yeah, but
anymore.
you know what I love that the Suns did? See, Mark Williams is so much more agile and mobile than Rudy Gobert.
Right.
They brought Mark Williams out, forcing Gobert to come out. And I didn't know Mark Williams could shoot a 3. He shot a 3 and made a 3.
I wish I got the audio, but I saw it. Colin Gillespie, they asked him in the locker room at the game, "Hey, he goes, I was on the other side of the court," and in my mind, and I'm just sitting there thinking, what the hell's he doing? And then he made it. And so Colin Gillespie has a personality on him, by the way, too, folks, if you don't know that.
Yeah, and so, again, I give Jordan Ott and his coaching staff credit because they said, look, we have a number of second-tier players. I don't want to call them second-tier, but let's say bench players that can attack the rim. So let's bring Gobert, the shot blocker, out of the paint. We'll put Mark Williams there. Williams can even put the ball on the floor and go, and they can even run the high pick and roll with Gobert, and they force Gobert out of the game because he's not mobile.
And he got frustrated. That's why he did that move. But I mean, you go back to the first time they played the Spurs this year with Wemby. They were the first team to figure out how to stop Wemby and what he was doing to beat the Spurs earlier in the game. Jordan Knott is the right coach for this team. The big difference on the Suns this year, we've said it multiple times, but Nick Richards didn't even play last night.
Dude, I don't know. I like Nick Richards.
Well,
I don't know why he's not playing.
I've heard some rumors that he's on the trade block a little bit.
I wouldn't doubt it.
Where's this? Oso's playing well as a backup, stuff like that. But it's the bench on this Suns team. One of their struggles the last couple years was when the starters went out. Just
the thing is,
anybody
they bring into the game is playing hard. Now, is that the coach? Coach has something to do with that.
I think Brooks set that.
And I think you got to look at the players also that set that tone. And like you said, Luka, it still bothers you the way he antagonized me. What do you think everybody else is saying about the Suns and Dylan Brooks?
Yeah.
I can't stand that guy.
Yeah, absolutely. And here's the deal. And going back to Nick Richards, I wouldn't like to see the Suns trade him given Mark Williams' injury history. So I like the fact that the Suns, but here's where my mind goes now, guys. I didn't know who the heck Jamari Bouye was. Yeah. I didn't even know who the heck Isaiah Livers was. But the Suns signed Livers before the season to a 2-way contract. No big deal.
Right.
But the guy, he's an impactful player. He plays very well within the Suns structure. He plays tough on the perimeter defensively, knock down the open three, can run the floor. So I like him a lot.
Go ahead.
Okay, but here's the deal. I don't know if you guys are aware how the 2-way contracts work. 2-way contracts work in which that player is only given 50 games to play. Let's call the Suns. I call them the varsity. They only played 50 games to play with the Suns.
Okay. And he's on the G League roster as well.
And so the same thing would hold true now for Jamari Bouye. He's only getting 50 games. All right. I didn't know who this kid is impacting the games to the point to where I said, okay, the Suns need to get rid of 2 players so they can sign both Bouye and Livers to a standard 1-year contract. That way they could be eligible even into the postseason. Because, hey, people, the way the Suns playing, they're going to the postseason.
Right.
They're postseason. And so I've already figured out that Nigel Davis-Hayes does nothing for me. He's one of them. Yep. How do I find that
Coach's
second?
decision last night.
Yeah, how do I find that second player to get rid of him?
Well, it's not Malawach and it's not Fleming. It's got to be Richards is my point.
But, dude, you need, again, I go back to my point.
With Mark Williams.
His fragility.
But he's the odd man out. That's all my argument is. You're not getting rid of Malawich. You're not getting rid of Fleming.
So I don't know that I'm ready to get rid of Richards for Bouye or for Livers. Because that's a tough decision. Son's going to have to, if it's only one, which one of those players are you keeping?
Right.
I think Livers is actually on the G League. He's not on the roster.
But he's a 2-way player. But I like the way he plays.
Yeah, I
really do.
It's interesting when you say that. I didn't really understand that there was a game limit.
Yeah, 50 games.
Because that was the thing that happened at SCA this year. We had a 7-game JV schedule.
Had to cancel it.
And we had to cancel the last 2 games because our young kids were playing 2 games a week. And you could only play a certain amount of regular season games, and so it's like, okay, well, hey, those last 2 or 3 JV games, we're just gonna cancel them, which is kind of like what's gonna happen here. They're gonna have to do something.
Yeah, they have to. And so if the Suns decide they're only going to keep one or the other, Livers or Bouye, after they get rid of Nigel Davis-Hayes, and they can get rid of him at the trading deadline because you wouldn't have played 50 games by then anyway, and so. If it's you guys, and you can only keep one, either Livers or Bouye, which one are you keeping?
I'm keeping Livers I'm keeping Bouye because Livers is going back and forth, and Bouye, that tells me that they like Bouye better.
Well, and I just like to hear the name Bouye.
Yeah.
Well, I'll tell you what, the kid surprises me. I mean,
I like his energy.
When he dropped double figures in his first game. Yeah. I'm like, wow, okay, he shot the ball well. I didn't expect that, but he's playing so well now that Ott has him a part of his rotation.
That's what I'm getting. And Livers is going down to the G League. Like he wasn't even on the roster last night because they put him down. But it's that's why I say I think the Suns. But that could be just
to get him more work.
That's what I'm saying. But the Suns, they're not doing that with Bouye. Is my point. That tells you the Suns like him better. So that if you're paying attention to that, that's what I'd look at from that side. But no, you're not wrong. And these are hard. The Suns have hard decisions to make.
That they're having to make these decisions, we should be thankful.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, they're and again, a tip of the hat to Brian Gregory.
Yes.
Because I mean, and even at Jordan not, because I was not on board with either one.
How
of those
many
hires.
people, and I know I was one of them, I will put my hand up when they said they were hiring Jordan Knott. It was who?
I'm going to join you as well.
Who?
But then if you look,
That's right. He drove through the Michigan State campus back in 2008.
Bingo.
but if you look at the if you look at Cleveland, where he came from, Cleveland's offense isn't the same as it was last year. You got to give credit. Jordan Knott leaving Cleveland hurt them and it made the Suns better.
I'm not going to argue that. I'm just going to say that I love everything that the Suns have done, even though I was critical of both the Brian Gregory and the Jordan. I'm here to apologize and say I was wrong. I mean, I do that when I am wrong, which isn't often. But
Well,
hey.
I mean, you've got to go a step higher than that because I'm really critical of Ishbia as the owner. He just seems like a rich playboy that just throws money at stuff and then blames everybody else. But I mean, he is taking it on the chin, and he's rebounded, and he realized it. I don't even think they thought it would be this spectacular this early in the season. But you got to give him credit for changing because most owners don't.
Has anybody heard from Matt Ishbia?
No, because remember he's going to be more involved in everything.
He's just sitting back and kind of saying, you know what, you guys. And that's also a good thing.
That's probably growth.
Yes.
It's probably growth because let's say I agree. He came in and he's been an NBA fan forever, and he thought
Just a
he
basketball
had.
fan.
Yeah, absolutely. He thought he had all the answers.
Right.
He's the one that went out and destroyed this Suns team. And traded and gave away some of their most popular players
and blamed
brought,
everybody else in his press conference for doing what he told them to do.
He did that, and so and that wasn't enough. Bringing in trading away Bridges and Cam Johnson and all these 4 first-round picks for Durant. Then he sends Chris Paul for Bradley Beal, and so it just changed the entire composition.
And again, I will raise my hand. The Durant trade, I said go for it. You have this opportunity once in the franchise history. Then he compounded that one mistake
Bradley
by
Beal
another
was
mistake.
Well, let me tell you something. I had a buddy who's a diehard Suns fan, and he was so into the Kevin Durant. I said, dude, I would be in for Kevin Durant if he wasn't this old. Dude, he's old.
But look how he's playing in Houston. He's playing really well in Houston.
Well, he is because, again, I go back to
coaching.
No, not coaching. It's the composition of the team. They have some players around him that can cover for his deficiencies and allow him to be the best of Kevin Durant, which is a shooter and scorer.
And the coaches
same thing that he
him
did
to
in
do it.
Same thing he did in Golden State. That's why they won back-to-back titles, and he was in league Finals MVP. Suns don't have that roster. They gave up a lot of those players just to get him.
Yeah.
Houston didn't have to give up a lot of those guys. I mean, they pretty much have their starting lineup intact except for Dylan Brooks. So they swapped out Brooks for KD.
Green. They wanted to get rid of Green though because Green couldn't hit a last-second shot and stuff like that. So they got rid of a guy they didn't want and a guy that was kind of on the edge. They probably would have liked to keep Dylan Brooks, but they were fine with letting him go to fit into there. But they gave up nothing compared to what the Suns gave up.
They were basically. Kevin Durant was replacing Dylan Brooks in their starting lineup. And so they're only losing, like you said, Jalen Green.
Which they wanted to unload because he just playoffs came. And hey, 2 quick last things. We're in overtime now. Arizona #1 in basketball. I mean, they're the best team in college basketball right now. I think so. I felt so for a few weeks now. They finally get the #1 spot there.
Mr. Pete.
Well, let's say, look. Anything that University of Arizona does in basketball is not surprising to me. Even their first round exits in the playoffs have become a thing that you kind of get used to as well.
Not win the big thing.
But
not make to the Final Four.
Look, Lute Olson set that program up, and it's almost impossible to fail there. It really is. I mean, and hats. And I'm not trying to take anything.
His team feels different, though, Coop.
I'm not trying to take anything away from Tommy Lloyd nor anyone else who succeeded Lute Olson. But look, that program.
Sean Miller.
That program is elite.
Yeah,
it's elite.
It feels different this year, though.
Well,
look at my screen right now. Who's that? This is Yahoo, by the way. Sends a newsletter out, and I get it.
Look.
And they list the magical Week 6 AP poll. Koa Pete is the Arizona player that they're showing. He's not even their best player.
Right.
But they have Koa Pete as their feature guy on this graphic right now.
Yeah, and look. I've watched Duke play.
Boozer Jr.
I think
good.
they're a phenomenal team as well, and so I'm not going to throw any shade on Arizona. I've come to expect nothing but greatness from that program because they've shown that.
But you are right.
deserve that.
You have question marks come the
tournament
NCAA
time, yeah.
tournament on how far they'll go because they do tend to falter. But I will say it does feel different with this. Hey, Coop, my last thing for you, because baseball fan here, White Sox 27%, Twins 22%, Pirates 16%, Orioles 9%, Athletics 6%. Who's winning the all-important number 1 draft pick tonight in the Major League Baseball lottery that happens at 5:30 p.m. Eastern Time?
Well,
Major League Baseball Network today.
Well, what are the Diamondback odds? The Diamondbacks have to have some odds too, right? In a new lot, isn't it a lottery deal where
It is a
I
lottery.
think
that's why it's 22.
Well, I want to know what the
20,
Diamondbacks
stuff
are because
like
I might take the Diamondbacks.
The Diamondbacks aren't getting that type of
Hey,
they're not getting that type of a deal.
hey, let me tell you something. Who got the top pick last year? Because it was the same thing for them.
So the way it works is, because I have to pull it up to read this because it's confusing. They have a competitive balance round A. It takes place. This is the first round compensation picks in the second round. Here, Diamondbacks are third in round A here coming up for the competitive pick. So that tells me their odds to get number 1 are probably 0 or are close
all right.
to
Well,
0.
let's put it to you like this. I think the Twins did a lot with their. I mean, they had a fire sale like you've never seen.
Because they were
before.
trying to sell their team. And
Right.
then
I understand
decided
that. And
not
so in the process,
I think they have one player under contract at the end of the season. if I remember right.
Byron Buxton.
I don't remember who it was.
Yeah. Here's the deal. To make that team as attractive as they could, they hardly any salary.
Yep, unloaded everybody.
And the possibility of having the first round pick. I think that Major League Baseball
Conspiracy theory.
I think they're going to penalize the Twins. Yes, I do.
Penalize them.
Oh.
I figured it'd be like the NBA where they'd win like the Knicks.
I think they'll penalize them, so I'm not going to take the Twins.
look at
They don't want to set any type of precedent.
About this, how you go out of business?
Yeah.
I actually do have a conspiracy theory on that, and I think the Pirates are going to win it. The Major League Baseball cannot afford the Pirates to screw up this Paul Skeens situation. They need to get him some help out there. So don't be surprised if the Pirates jump up at 16% and get the first round pick.
That's my pick, my choice. Pirates.
White Sox, they're just a fledgling team. Yeah. Nobody cares about the White Sox. They care about the Cubs. So watch out for the Pirates tonight. If there's a conspiracy theory on a winner there, Pirates, because Skeens is going to leave unless they get him some help. And Major League Baseball,
and the Dodgers will sign him.
Yeah.
Well, that's
hey,
the
by
issue,
the way,
right?
Major League Baseball does things so good. Did you see where Jeff Kent was elected to the Hall of Fame? Jeff Kent.
No,
Yeah.
the former Giant.
Yeah. On Sunday they elected him to the Hall of Fame.
Is that right?
Barry Bonds, Roger Clemens, and who's the guy that played for St. Louis, first baseman?
Rafael Palmeiro?
No, McGuire.
Oh.
They didn't get 5 votes in the because it's the
Veterans
older
Committee.
people. They didn't get 5 votes. They're not eligible again to be talked about until 2031.
2031
because they
Wow.
didn't get 5 votes.
Wow. See, I have a major problem with this anyway, because baseball had no rules relative to steroids, zero. And in a time in which they are trying to become relevant again, because it was clearly they were no longer America's team.
America's sport.
America's
Pastime,
sport.
yeah.
Yes, thank you. Excuse me. Yeah. You had every major network vying and competing for the NFL package.
Mhm.
The NBA was second. It pretty much was a one in ESPN.
ESPN just walked
Yeah,
away
yeah,
from
yeah.
Sunday Night Baseball.
Yeah, and so because the ratings are just
Well, when it's Cubs, whoever, and Dodger, and Yankees,
but-
Red Sox
but-
every week.
yeah.
We don't want to watch that.
right.
stuff.
But my whole point is baseball turned its head, its eyes, because they said, "Look, chicks dig the long ball," because they did a commercial. on it.
Yeah.
And so they
Maddox
encouraged
in
they encouraged the Sammy Sosas, the Mark McGuires, the Barry Bonds to do this, and even the pitchers that went that route as well.
Yep.
They were doing anything to entice.
Well, that was after that giant lockout too. That pissed a lot of people off.
And so to now come back and say, Oh, well, Barry, Mark, Sammy. No, we're not going to put you in.
I agree
No,
with you on that.
no.
I'm with you.
I don't think
I
that-
played against guys in the NFL who were on steroids when steroids were not illegal in the NFL. And people argue, well, they were illegal in the United
That's what
States.
they always say.
But they were not illegal in the NFL. They didn't test. There was no drug program. There was nothing. So you could do what you wanted to do.
Yeah, Lyle Alzado, wasn't he the poster boy
Lyle
for steps?
Alzado, a guy named Joe Klecko, who could take
Yeah.
two 250-pound linebackers and lift them over his head. There were a lot of guys. And, again, did it suck? Yes, because I never did them. But that was just the price of doing business. And so, to me, it's more baseball. You on an NFL Sunday, you announce your Hall of Fame guy.
They just hit literally in the middle of the second game.
They did it on the
And
Sunday.
I read more about how Bonds and McGuire and Clemens didn't get votes. I read all about that, and then at the bottom it was like, oh, and Jeff Kent got in.
And then they're going to have their ceremony on a Sunday when all 30 teams are playing.
Yeah.
Instead of they could do it All-Star Week. They could do it anytime at all, but they get it wrong. Anyway, enough.
Robert says he looked it up. 1.51% for the D-backs.
D-backs, number one pick.
There we go. DeAndre.
So next week, Cooper join us next Tuesday as well. A couple of programming notes here as we wrap up the show. No McCollum on business today. I have to go deal with a flat tire. Ethan had a flat tire this morning going to school, and I got to go deal with that. So no McCollum on business today. Tomorrow, the Uncle Lou will join us probably in the 8 o'clock hour, and then we got a special guest coming in. Dale, a comedian's going to come and join us via Zoom. The Boston sports fan. So stay tuned tomorrow. I'll announce that out later on today as well, and everything. So come back and join us tomorrow. Coop, see you next week.
All right, guys, look forward to it.
One more Cardinals game.
We'll be talking about a Cardinals big win over the Houston Texans, no doubt.
I try not to laugh at that. We'll see how many kids at ASU are back in the transfer portal again as well. We didn't even talk about the bowl games. We'll get into that as well. So come on back, folks. Main event.